Foreign Affairs of Germany.
Thank you very much, Excellencies, colleagues, dear Madam President. 943 days ago, Russia launched its full-scale aggression against Ukraine. 943 days of suffering. 943 days of women being raped in Bucha, of tortured people in eastern Ukraine, and of children being deported. And as we have heard here today, there's no denying of that. Children being deported from their homes, as my Polish colleague has outlined. We heard here the Russian ambassador that he didn't even say this is not true. He said it's better for the children. There's an estimation that more than 20,000 children have been deported. Imagine these were your children, and you hear here in the Security Council that this is for the better good of your child, being stolen from you as a mother or a father. I had the chance to speak one of the very, very few teenager girls who could be returned. She was telling me in tears, please promise me one thing. You won't stop, you won't stay silent until all the other girls, all the other boys, the little children have been returned. And this is our promise we gave. We as European neighbors, we as Germans, my country, what we heard here from our Polish friends, who were responsible for the worst crime on the European continent, who are lucky to live in peace again, my generation to live in peace again, because others were there for us, other European friends and partners, that my country could live in peace, be unified in the middle of Europe. And this is also my plea to those where I totally understand, who ask us, can you please stop this? Maybe it would help if you do not support Ukraine in self-defense. Maybe we should just ignore what's happening. We cannot do that, because my country pledged that we always stand up for the principles of this united nation. And we won't rest until these children are being back to their families. And yes, the Russian Federation, the ambassador who always leaves after he has spoken here, I've experienced that a couple of times, you can fool yourself. The strongest man of your country can hide behind teenager girls who he kidnapped. But you cannot fool the world. I mean, we don't have to go through all the 943 days of all the atrocities. We can all just remember what happened on Sunday here in New York. Russia wanted to prevent us from a real breakthrough for the UN, when a vast majority of states rallied around the values of the Charter. The fooling of the world happened just then, when Russia wanted to prevent us from a real breakthrough for the UN. And then we can read it all on Twitter. Their truth is that the majority from the, I quote, jungle was not capable of taking the right decision. This is how Putin's Russia these days speaks about other countries, the jungle. This is how they speak about Ukraine, a beauty which has to be raped. And this is how Putin's soldiers, Putin's army behaves. Every day, 943 days. Lately, with heavy drone attacks and missiles directly targeted power plants. 2/3 of electricity and heating is being destroyed right now, even though we try to protect it with air defense. 2/3 being destroyed, not by coincidence, but because winter is coming again. Minus 15 degrees means that electricity doesn't work, heating doesn't work, and water is being frozen. This is a crime against humanity. People freezing to death. And this is why, again, I would like to call on all the friends around the world. We can totally understand that some of you think maybe if there is no weapon support anymore for Ukraine, maybe if we just call neutrally on all sides, this can go better. But I mean, the truth is, if there's no air defense left around the remaining electricity hubs, there's no electricity in Ukraine anymore. Then everything is being destroyed. And yes, we can call on both sides neutrally. But Vladimir Zelensky invited the Russian president to the negotiation table in summer. He offered a dialogue. And Vladimir Putin has responded with new levels of aggression. In June, Ukraine invited Russia to a second international peace conference. Putin's response? He bombed a children's hospital in Kiev. And this is why we believe we have to send further air defense to protect children's hospitals. And this is why we are on one hand very grateful that an increasing number of our partners in the world are thinking about how to end this war. We need this. We need an end to this war. But this cannot mean for us to stand by and watch while there is no end to this war, while Putin hasn't taken the seat at the negotiation table, to just stand by and watch Russia destroying the remaining half of Ukraine. For us, when we are speaking about peace, we believe it must be a just and lasting peace. Speaking about peace means Ukraine must be sure that the end of the fighting does not mean another round of preparations in Russia, neither another round in Ukraine, nor in Moldova, nor in Poland, like we've heard again from our colleague here at the table. Speaking about peace, just and lasting peace, means that Ukraine's existence as a free and independent country is guaranteed. It means security guarantees. This is hard, and every day people are dying. But, Excellencies, on Sunday, we have showed what we can achieve if we join forces. We showed that those who want to destroy our charter will not succeed if we stand together and rally around the charter. Let's rally around the charter also for Ukraine in the same spirit, for just and lasting peace for Ukraine, for Europe and the whole world. Thank you.
I thank Her Excellency Ms. Baerbock for her statement. I now give the floor to His Excellency Mr. Lars Løkke Rasmussen, Minister for Foreign Affairs of Denmark.
Thank you, Madam President, distinguished members of the Security Council. I have the honor to speak on behalf of the 5 Nordic countries, Finland,